Welcome, Timberwolves
Welcome.
Daily's users.
This is a Cooper fan club right
This
here.
is the Cooper after show.
Oh my god, the live after show of the live show?
Yeah, basically. But welcome, Timberwolves beat the Grizzlies tonight in their rivalry game. However, without Desmond Bane.
To 100.
111 to 100. And if you were a part of our Discord, you might have seen that I put a little bet in. Well, a fake bet. I didn't even actually bet it. But because I can't do it from here.
Your money is our money.
You have to go to the casino to do it. But I hit a bet. It was $10 into $157. Boom. Got it. This is why you got to join the Discord.
Dude, I love fake money.
I do love fake money. However, I am not your financial advisor. Anyways, welcome to the show. Ian Benjamin is here live.
Live in the flesh.
I'm
confirmed it's not me, Cameron.
Yeah, that's true. I'm slow-mo sexual. Yes. We all are, Ian. We really are. What a game. What a game. That was really fun to watch. And as JJ has mentioned, we're over 500 now. Things are looking up. We're getting close to the All-Star break, and it's like, maybe it's winning time for the Timberwolves.
Oh my God.
That would be nice.
Say it again. Closer, deeper.
Maybe it's
harder.
It's winning time.
Oh.
But yeah, the Timberwolves now are 26 and 25.
That's crazy.
Right in contention for like the 5 and the 6 seed, realistically. So, Nathan, best win of the year, best feeling win of the year, probably. I mean, we just played such a good game all through. There was a moment in the beginning of the fourth quarter, end of the third quarter, where I kind of started having flashbacks to the playoffs last year, where it was like, wow, we've had a pretty good game. We're up by 10, 15 points the whole time. And then
a mini run to end the quarter.
Exactly. And then it just seems like we're crumbling. And it's like, okay, this is bad. We end the third quarter poorly. And then immediately coming out in the fourth, they give up a bucket. So it's like, that's pain. But no, we had solid performances. I mean, D'Lo ended up with 19 points. Ant over 20. Rudy came to play, had some crucial dunks at the end, had some blocks, had some he had like 12 rebounds, I think. I can't remember.
I love how you're just like repeating the stats that you were betting on. Like under 24 and a half points, but about
that
19.
may have been the only thing I was paying attention to. But no, it was just and then obviously on top of everything, Kyle Anderson was like out of his mind. I mean, the first 2 buckets of the game are him hitting threes. Like that's crazy. And, honestly, if you were going to tail that bet that I had in the Discord, you probably would have been smart to have a Kyle Anderson revenge game on there. That lost my brain. Like I wasn't thinking about him like having a good game or anything like that.
You don't just think about him?
And not usually, but tonight would have been that night. So yeah. But how are you? I mean, here's the thing. After wins, we feel amazing. After losses, it's the end of the world. So I think we do have to temper our happiness just a tiny bit because we don't want to be super, super let down. But at the same time, we did look good tonight. And I think this was a good game overall. You really had good production from everybody. But yeah, JJ's right. This is a weird team. It is inconsistent, but we also are young. I mean, like Ant is like the core of our team. So you're going to have him. Right now, he's the core of our team. So you're going to have this inconsistent play. But yeah, that is the Rudy we traded for. First thoughts from you, Ashwin, after the game and looking forward?
Yeah, well, instead of ABC always be closing, we should always be peeing. Always being pessimistic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing on the court. I do think that we have a fractured offense. Like our offense isn't clean. Our offense isn't well oiled. It's definitely running on just talent right now, but our shots are going in. Earlier in the season, the talent was there. The shots weren't going in. We were looking at making some moves. We were looking at saying, "Oh, your head is on the chopping block." Wins like this definitely mend those wounds here. And notably, they have size, but God, they look like half the size out there sometimes.
Yeah,
Memphis
yeah.
looks small sometimes, and even with Brandon Clark out there and Jaren Jackson Jr., they were getting fouls. They're like foul trouble prone as usual, and then they have to like go to like Roddy at the 4 or 5, and
Yeah.
other players like Tyre Williams, whatever, and they look small. And we were just manhandling them in the post, getting whatever we wanted, any real look.
Mhm.
And maybe we were kind of looking a little like choppy, lackadaisical in the first half, but like that fourth quarter, we just closed it. And that's actually kind of like, in a nutshell, a sign of a good to decent team is that we aren't playing very well, but look at the box score, we're up 10 or
Yep.
11.
Yep.
And you're
Exactly.
just kind of like, you're never like kind of like edging. You're never really like
Mhm.
threatening to get the momentum back in their favor. They could go on a 5-0 run, but that doesn't really dent the lead. From 14 to 9, you still have a comfort like 3 or 4 possession lead.
Mhm.
And in a game of inches, in a game of seconds, in a game of, I don't know. I was gonna make a joke and I'm just fucking running on empty here, but like
But
it's
you're
cool.
right.
It's kind of cool to see. Like an A1 in the building may not necessarily be A1 tonight. We had another one tonight, and like someone steps up every given night, and it's not necessarily the same players. That's also a sign of a great team
Mhm.
feeding off of each other, running offense through each other, and running the right hand, the hot hand, and another like staple for me is not running everything through Gobert. You know what I noticed also is
Yeah.
Gobert wasn't like trying to show that he was open all night tonight.
Mhm. Yeah.
He was kind of like letting the offense like drift into him and on possessions, and those putbacks are great. In a nutshell, sorry, this was a good, solid win. I'm excited about the future with this group, and really crazy. We're like above 500, despite Cat missing 20 some odd games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, woe is us, like 10 days ago.
Mhm.
And we're on this insane, like, kind of winning streak. Like, it's not necessarily consecutively, but like over the past like 11 or 12 games, we're on like 7-3, like 8-4. It's
Something like
looking
that.
all right.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like I think, things at times aren't perfect. They look a little sloppy. The two things though, like, we've seen a little bit more polish out of the Wolves in the last couple weeks, where they've run some plays that have been successful. And it hasn't been force feeding to Rudy. It's just been casually getting it to him at the right moment. But then on top of that, you're talking about how like we've had some kind of ugly like first 3 quarters of the games, but some of these games like we've been able to just close it out in the fourth quarter, and like you said, that's what good teams do. That happens a lot in like college basketball, like Final Four or March Madness is coming up here relatively soon, and a lot of the time you can see these like you have these like 16 seeds, and it's like, oh my gosh, they're beating the 1 seed at halftime, and then after half the good team comes out and dominates and comes all the way back from whatever deficit they were down. And the Wolves have been able to do that a little bit. And we haven't been necessarily playing all scrub teams. Like tonight, Memphis is a good team. They're the 2 seed. Like they're a good team, even though they've been stumbling a little bit lately and they don't have Desmond Bane. Both teams are still taking this very seriously. We were in the playoffs against each other last year. So like this is a real measuring stick, even though it's just a regular season game in January. Both of these teams should have come in very serious tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Wolves to win, I think it's huge.
Notably, you're saying Bane, and we're not going to talk about the Grizzlies much more than we can throw them, but like missing Bane, missing Adams.
Yeah.
I think Adams is kind of low key very important for them, that we kind of shoved out of their rotation when they were facing us in the playoffs. But against us with Gobert, they could take advantage of Adams setting those insane screens. He had his, but he was kind of like inefficient, and like no one else really supported Jaw's efforts. Like Dylan Brooks kind of in the first half, but like no one else really came out, right? So we had a game plan tonight, I felt like I saw that on the court. And like as other people were saying, like we were playing for each other, passing the ball. Ant was not this like super alpha dog, and he was kind of within the flow of the offense a lot of times. And we're seeing a team growing. Like it's kind of nice, back-to-back wins here, and certifiably solid wins. Like nothing like extreme, like escape, win on a buzzer beater kind of bullshit. Like, or they got like some ejections that like threw us off that made us win. these are actual wins that I feel like very like solid about.
Yeah, the last two especially, I felt really, really good. But one player, and I guess this is a good segue into the tier list, I guess. Let me share that over here. One player that I was very unhappy with tonight was
Mr.
Bryn Forbes. No,
Mr. L.
It was, Mr. L. Nowell has just been very unenjoyable to watch.
Unplayable.
Seriously, unplayable. And like, I don't necessarily think that this means that he's just like done. Like, I believe that he can be a hot hand for us and give us some offense. But like, I feel like it's a pretty easy thing to gauge as a head coach to see if he's going to be successful one night or not. And like tonight, he was giving you plenty of signs that he was not going to be well. And they just kept throwing him in there and he kept turning it over. And it was embarrassing.
Yeah. And it's like, are we scapegoating him because we're seeing like D'Lo rising, and Jalen was kind of like, if only Jalen was starting. We were talking about that early in the season. Like D'Lo was struggling to find his shot, and Jalen had his shot. But overall, I am not seeing anything worth keeping from Jalen Nowell. I wish him the best, of course. I'm always rooting for anyone who's on our team, but like, gotta see it to believe it, and I haven't seen anything from him. And you've seen like those random threes that he chucks, those like running into coverage and then not knowing how to really pass the ball out. He's chucking in a weird way where it doesn't feel like any shots going in anymore. He used to have like a set shot that looked nice, and I feel strongly that it's not there anymore. And I think he's lost some confidence. And, we saw that with Slow-Mo for like a couple of games where he lost confidence and didn't know what to do with the ball, looked like Ben Simmons out there. But then now, like, look at the fucking Slow-Mo that we have. So I'm always going to, like, give patience and, like, time for players to kind of get their struggles out and, like, work through it. Because we don't have practices. We don't have, like, a training camp, mid-season training camp to, like, work through all those issues. But, like, I don't know. I'm kind of out of excuses for Jalen Nowell, and, like, if you want to make it in this league, you got to be above expectations, and you've been subpar all season long.
I think the thing that he has to adjust, which he has done slightly tonight, he did it a couple times. He's not doing very good at it, but he has so many opportunities when he's driving or has the ball to lob it to Gobert, and he just refuses to give the ball to Gobert, except for like once or twice tonight. He did that shovel pass to Gobert, and that was like finally. I think he had one other attempt that he tried to lob it up, but it was kind of like this really awkward attempt that Rudy couldn't handle.
Pass it to his feet.
Yeah, it was just like I don't know. There's just this awkwardness between them, and if they could really like, we talked about D'Lo and Gobert having like synergy in the beginning of the season. We need Nowell and Gobert to have this, like, they need to have communication and understanding of how to, like, Nowell needs to know how to throw it to him because if that can open things, that'll open things up so much for him himself, because then he might be able to score more. Because right now, if you're looking at a scouting report, looking at Nowell, and you've got like a 2-man game of Nowell and Gobert, you're like, guess what? I don't have to worry at all about Gobert because it's going to be Nowell. Nowell's just going to take it. That's all it's going to be. So if he can figure that out, that's good.
I got to commend you for kind of like picking apart some of the lineups and what we're seeing on the court. The Nowell Gobert pairing is actually critical. And I never even thought of this. They're going to be playing together significantly. I think like Nowell comes in for D'Lo early. Gobert plays the second quarter in that stint where Nowell's out there. That is the duo that needs to find the rhythm out of everything, like the D'Lo, Baby Mac had that chemistry running. Baby Mac and Nas has that chemistry running. Yeah. It's the point guard center relationship always has to kind of run together, or those two guards have to always fuel together. And like, when Nowell's out there, he feels like a second fiddle. He feels like a third part of, the fifth wheel of a team. And he has to try to like, show up and like be that over exaggerated kid who's like really excited about showing his mom his work, his homework or his project or his drawing outside of the lines. I personally am very excited to like think about what Nowell and Gobert could look like as a pairing, as a duo. And you're right. They just got to work on their game together. I wonder if they do.
Maybe. It's possible. I hope so. But Do you have any stats for him tonight? I guess he can just be the first one that we talk about.
Oh, just straight up F. I don't know, man. Like looking at the box score now, 20 minutes, 8 points, 5 turnovers. Whoa.
Yeah.
2 steals, 3 assists, couple rebounds. Good for him getting to the line and getting those free throws. That's fine. But
it's kind of funny because we've talked about this in the past games where we've lost, where we're kind of upset with players because we're like, it feels like some people just don't care if we win or lose. And
yeah, right.
With Nowell, I think he cares. Like, he's one of the few players that I know cares every single night, but he does things too much. He's on that spectrum. He's way too far to trying to win to the point where it's taking away from the team. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like, even after a win, it feels weird bagging on a player, but and he was 50% efficiency, so whatever, he was a plus minus, he was positive on the plus minus. What I saw on the court doesn't reflect the score, but maybe D tier, because this is not what I'm expecting. This is not what I want. But anyways, Austin Rivers, a player who I feel like, and just really quick, another point on Jalen Nowell, he was given the keys to run the bench.
Yeah.
To start the season, we traded away the bench to have him take control, take reins. We saw enough of him last year. We said, you know what, this is going to be the offensive production that we missed from Beasley is going to be replaced by it, and we are not seeing it. No. We supplemented him with Bryn Forbes, not seeing it. Supplementing him with Matt Ryan, he's in the G League, repping those Iowa Wolves.
Yeah.
Austin Rivers, who's I think the heir apparent to Patrick Beverley's defense last year. 21 minutes, 2 points, 2 steals, 3 assists. Just solid as hell. My grade, our grade for him in 3, 2, 1.
C.
Yeah, and can't you see the difference he makes when he's out there?
Yeah.
Guarding the Jaws, guarding the Tyus Jones. What? Tyus Jones was nothing tonight.
He was
and
nothing.
He's a Wolves killer because whatever Mankato, whatever bullshit he's right?
Yeah.
He's a Wolves killer. And I didn't see anything from Memphis tonight that was worthy of talking about. Ja barely got to the line. Ja barely got calls. He had more fouls than points, it felt like, or more turnovers than points, it felt like. You know what I mean? Just Austin Rivers' DNA, imprinting his defense and acuity into the rest of the team. It feels great to have him, Gobert, Jaden McDaniels. Dude, we would have, in our best years with Garnett, we would have had Garnett, of course, as a defensive stalwart. We would have, Irvin Johnson for 4 minutes. And we would have Trenton Hassel. That's it. Everyone else was negative players, negative defensive, rating players. Now we have more. We have more of a balance, and it feels great. And yeah, maybe every now and then, once every 10 or 12 games, we're going to get Austin Rivers at double figures. I would like to see more production from him, but I don't need to see it at the cost of Ant taking shots, D'Lo taking shots, or even for the fucking whatever reason, Kyle Anderson taking shots, right? So that's great to see. I don't know, your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, he's just a solid presence out there on defense, and I feel confident with him out there, and he gives you that possibility. I think the Pat Bev comp is super good because he gives you that opportunity to space the floor for threes because he can hit threes. And then the defense on top of that, just the intensity. He's a solid player to throw out there when you need a good defensive point guard.
It's funny, right? When we were fully healthy in the beginning of the year, why is he on our team? Why was he playing? He wasn't barely playing. He was scraping minutes on the back of the bench for those last 54 seconds of the game when we were getting blown out by 30. Why was he out there? And there was a clear vision, clear kind of supplemental replacement, defensive intensity, and maybe a leader in the locker room that we needed. I think he has that kind of poise and that kind of character about him. And he knows he's been through it. He's been on 1,000 teams. He's played with his fucking dad. That's got to suck.
Yeah.
So he's been through the highs and lows, and now let's mature a team into contention. And I think we're getting there. This shit takes time, and we're restless. We've had unprecedented offseason expectations bestowed on us, and it's unfair sometimes to be oh, why is Rivers not getting 30 points a game? Why is Nowell not taking that step? But we are out of time. We have had all this time without Kat, and we are finding a rhythm. We're finding success. And, that's a lot of slow-mo. It's a lot of other players kind of stepping up. When Cat comes back in the fold, who's going to, relieve the wheel? Who's going to relieve that, that usage that they have, And so, Austin Rivers might lose some time. Like, I don't know, like Nate, like our bench might look like a different, system. So I'm just saying all these things because, like, it's nice to have all of that, though.
It is. Yep.
Because it was like insurance policies.
Yep. In case of emergency. And that's why they're there. And it's working for us. And man, this is a side note. I just hope when Cat comes back, it just fits into the offense perfectly. I would be so happy. But, I have my doubts. But
I have my doubts as well. I think it's going to take time. And I'm really worried about that amount of time.
And it's just the wrong time to have that happen. So
because we're peaking. We're peaking right now.
It's just, but.
Yeah, and leading into the All-Star break, we're going to feel real good about ourselves. Maybe we'll get that, that first bid All-Star as well. That's going to be great. We're going to turn it off at the three-point contest and dunk contest because we're not there. We're not participating. We're not winning those. Told you, Finch.
Yeah. Before we go to the next player, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. We do this after most Timberwolves games. We talk for kind of a long time, which we always say we're going to talk for a short time, and then we do it for like an hour. So.
Or 2 hours.
Or 2 hours sometimes, especially when we talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. Who's up next? Or sorry, did you want to address a question?
No, one thing that we haven't been doing lately on the shows is having them, but also is, kind of responding to some of the commentary. And there's been some great conversation happening. And, I will say that I've been kind of missing some of it. But I welcome you guys. Looks like Tanner's new here. It's a little left arm, broken arm. Sorry. Welcome back, my friend. And even JJ, usually typically comes for losses, but the Gobert and slow-mo at the end of the game kind of brought him right in. He was like, you know what? I got to check on our dudes. Wolves After Dark.
If JJ's here, it's a special night.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to combine these players. I think they deserve an equal grade tonight. Naz Reid, Nate Knight, 20 minutes apiece, essentially 4 for 6 apiece from them. They each hit a three. They each got nearly double digits. Fantastic. What's insane is that we're seeing Naz Reid, kind of commanding the ball sometimes. We're seeing Nate Knight playing with Gobert and it working. That's stupid. That should not happen, but it is. And that's also a testament to maybe something is we're finding like where Cat will fit. And that's where Nate Knight's like plugging in right now. He's going to be, not getting time when Cat comes back. That's a for sure statement. Yeah. But so just looking at where Nate Knight's fitting in on the corner, shooting those threes, that's why we want Cat. It's really sick to see that kind of working. Bees, for sure. 4 fouls for Nate Knight. I don't give a shit. I honestly don't care that he's in foul trouble or anything because what he fouls hard. He makes them feel it. And that makes me feel excited that he gives a shit enough to foul hard, not touch him on the wrist,
He's an enforcer, and it's perfect to have, especially when you have when we do have everybody healthy. We all know that Cat and Jaden are foul prone, whether that's by their own fault or the refs calling it one way or the other. It happens, and so to have those people be able to come in behind them is just huge because. Then you I've talked about this last playoffs. You want to have these players on the bench that you can just have foul get those fouls, take on the fouls, so that your starters don't have to get Cat doesn't have to foul out in the first half. If he has foul trouble, throw in Nate Knight and then have Nate Knight if he's gonna get fouls called use his body for fouls. That's what you're gonna use it for. And tonight he was even hitting a three, so a wide open three, and just to have that production from both of them is just huge. When you already have 2 of the top centers in the league on your team.
Great point. I gotta say, hands up, hands off. What? Shout out to the refs who basically were hands off tonight, letting us play a little bit harder. That's a good sign of a good game. They are letting us play through, and it's not chippy. It's not 50 fucking free throws for one player. That's what I was expecting tonight. After the jaw struggles, after the Grizzlies losses, going to Minnesota, time to win, time to force that win. I'm not buying into the conspiracy theories or whatever, but I'm full of them, and one of them is they're never going to let the Wolves win. So anywho, it is time that we needed. Apparently, little left broken arm is all we needed was time, and he never doubted this team.
Or as I say, Littlefoot broke
Littlefoot.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Chris Simmons, welcome to the show. Chris Simmons, I hope you're not related to Benji, but Ant-Man is a superstar. Star fire emoji.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
all about that fire emoji.
Yeah, let's get some emojis in the chat.
Yeah,
we need to see more emojis.
Yeah, man. Eggplants, dude. Let's start with eggplants first.
Eggplant emojis for Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, dude.
Slomosexuals
unite. If anything, if we go down in flames, we want to be remembered for slomosexuals, men who come, and eggplant emojis. Okay, cool. I don't know what we're doing here, but to the starters, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I don't know.
True.
And troll the shit out of Cooper.
Timberwolves Daily.
Who's the main does so much everything every day. Yeah. Stop. Let us have some time. Because we won't do anything with that time. I'm just promising you.
That's true. We'll skip out on a couple of shows. But
dude, I love our off-season kind of outro is okay. So wait for it. We have so many things planned. We're gonna be running, and then we don't do anything.
Different. We had crazy stuff happen this offseason.
Yeah.
But anyways,
we had one show though.
We did do only one show.
We had 2.5 shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool.
Who's up first?
Well, the great one said I could see it the other way, but we do have a little history with the Grizzlies, and now we have an ex-player. Oh, speaking of history, what are your thoughts on Rivals Week?
Rivals Week? Oh, is that what's happening right now?
This week, apparently, it's Rivals Week.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I saw that, kind of. I don't really care, but I do think it's cool to have. I guess it's cool to have a designated week. This gives a little bit of excitement for the beginning or the middle of the season times where you just have nobody cares. It's better than a play a mid-season tournament that nobody's going to care about. So I guess I like it. Who cares about that? Who cares if who wins? I guess it's kind of interesting, but what is it? Bragging, right? Who cares? But no, I think it's cool. I think it's cool to have these teams play against each other, and I'm glad that they called us and the Grizzlies a rival. I mean, I think the Grizzlies probably view the Golden State Warriors more as their rival.
They want that.
Yeah, they want that, and unfortunately, they can't handle that smoke, it seems like, this year. But and for us, I think it is the Grizzlies. I mean, there's several players on the Grizzlies that I don't like. So,
not eggplants. We got to get ants. Ant emojis in here. That's when and we'll get Cam approved blue Twitter checkmarked for an emoji himself. But until then, we got to get ant emojis in here, dude. Our starters have been banging and mashed tonight. And Jaden McDaniels, 31 minutes. He did not foul out tonight. He actually did the opposite. He had one foul tonight. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Didn't make a 3. However, he was clutch the game before, and I feel like there's some residue from that game because he played pretty well tonight, not needing to take over, not needing to get those clutch buckets. But our grade for our boy Jaden in 3, 2, 1.
B.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Same page.
I feel like I've been kind of hard on Jaden lately, so I guess this is a little bit more like a sympathy one. But
say hard on Jaden?
Maybe.
Wolves After Dark?
Pause. But I mean, he was solid tonight. And this is I think lately my expectations have they've gone up and down with Jaden. Jaden's just it's also hard to grade him because he does contribute so much. And when he doesn't have many fouls, I feel like that's a huge accomplishment, especially against the Grizzlies. There were several times tonight where Ja was driving and I was like, oh gosh, here comes, I could tell before any amount of contact happened, I was like, they're going to call a foul. And they didn't. And maybe that's just to the refs' credit. But tonight worked. And I don't know if Jaden did something moved his body 1 inch differently than he normally does, but it worked tonight. So I guess I'm going to give him his props by giving him a B.
Totally. Because he's guarding Ja for the majority of the game and 4 free throws as a result. That's it. Right? Isn't that remarkable? Yeah. That is a stat to be B worthy, A worthy to discuss as opposed to his actual stat line, because his stat line is always going to be in flux. We're not going to really see a common denominator here, but his value is all those unchecked stats that we don't have subscriptions for to really check into. Per 36, per 24 possessions. leading the break, right? So we don't have this, but love. It's funny. We're seeing a lot of teams playing that like flex player at the 3. Mm-hmm. Zaire Williams is their answer in Memphis, and that's a project. He's a second-year, third-year player as well, and that's a project. Do they have time to waste figuring out that role for their play? They used to have Slow-Mo. They used to have all the other players, and now they have to kind of figure it out from the others that they have. They need some other players, man. Like Memphis needs. But like I feel like we have something with Jaden, and like there are times where like maybe a move could be great to like have TP in the starting lineup, even Slow-Mo in the starting lineup, and then you think about like what our team looks like age-wise, speed-wise, and like Jaden's just straight up efficiency for the most part, and I really like what he see when I see him on the court.
Yep.
Next up, we're gonna end with a unusual player because I do feel like there is an A1 tonight. However, Anthony Edwards, 36 minutes, team high in minutes. NBA team high in minutes. Like I think he's leading the league.
I think he is. Yeah, he was at least a couple of days ago.
What are we, like Tom Thibodeau here?
Yeah, pretty much.
He's playing with a busted butt and a wrist now too, both left side. Like that's something. That's a controversy.
And he looks good.
Oh yeah, with a busted butt.
Yeah.
25 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. Dude, 25, 7 to 7. That's insane. Only 2 turnovers tonight.
He almost had a LeBron. That's a 27, 7, and 7.
Oh, dude, and he's basically LeBron.
Basically.
Without, the hairline.
And the cringe.
Cringe. Yeah, without the cringe. Ooh.
Important.
Yeah. Or the school named after him. Dude. Or the pizza chain.
Or Blaze Pizza. True. He's
or the barbershop.
But.
Hey, he's awesome. Yeah. He is our fuel. Post-game, he's basically like working harder than anyone else. They ask him about his threes. He's not a chucker. He's efficiently making those reads. And I think he's smarter than everyone believes. He is reading defenses and playing what they're trying to defend against. It's so insane. They're trying to hedge him. He takes the shot. When they're trying to, like double team him and sag off of him, he reads it and he's driving to the paint. He's getting those rim shots. And it's awesome. It's so remarkable to see him like torting his body, getting those and ones, getting those layups. And that first quarter dunk, dude, just out of nowhere, let's just fucking throw it down. Let's
get the crowd into it.
Yeah. Dude, nothing but like fanfare from here for Edwards, man.
I know. I don't take it for granted how amazing he has been for us. And I seriously appreciate every game that I watch him. And like, he's a big reason that a lot of people watch, which is good. And I think that's good for the team. We talked about this a little bit when Towns went down. Like, we were like, this is good for the team because Ant needs to be the one. And like the more casual fan still thinks of like Karl Anthony Towns as like the franchise player. And I'm not saying he isn't a franchise player, but like Ant was not recognized at the same level. And I think it's very clear that Ant is that same level, if not higher. So it's just a good thing for us. And I could not be happier to have Ant be the leader of our team.
Yeah, you said it, man. Like, it sucked to have Cat go down. And it was just like a fluke injury, right? Just like out of nowhere. He was playing a lot of minutes, and he just like he worked himself out of the out of the court. Byproduct is the next man up. Byproduct is the team rises to the occasion. Hopefully, you'd like to see it, and it's coming. It's coming right now, and I love it. The keys are in the right person's hands, and as Kat has said, he's watched and learned. He could take that back seat. That would be unbelievable. That'd be so surreal if we saw just a corralled cat, right? Like just a dude who knows his role and obviously is a superstar in that role. But like, can he be a Kevin Love on the Cavs? Yes. Like, yes. Yeah, he can definitely. I think that would be amazing because he'd be even better. Like, he really has that possibility to be like a 50, 40, 90 guy. Yeah.
And it would be, and he doesn't even have to like he's been working so hard to be this all-around player of everything. Like, he tries so hard. Similar to like we were talking about Jalen Nowell earlier about how he's trying like too hard. Like Cat has done that for years now. Tried too hard on everything. Like the behind the back passes. Like he's trying to hit threes. He's trying to drive and dunk. He's trying to be Jokic. He's trying to be Gobert. Like he's trying to do all these things. And like if he just gets like a smaller role and he can do that amazing. And I'm not saying that he's going down to be like some like only like obviously we want him to be somewhat of a 3-point specialist, but like he has the capability to be such a special player alongside Ant. This team could really, really go far if this all aligns perfectly.
You know what I would like more than anything? That and a statue for Cat. If he accepts second fiddle, statue for Cat immediately.
He deserves it. And this sounds weird coming from us, but I do think something that goes underappreciated is Cat's loyalness to this team.
Yeah.
He is unbelievably loyal to a team, a fan base, a state that has not had good sports in a long time. And there have been rumors that he's put down, and like he is just such like a Minnesotan true and true. And like he really does, he cares about this team and he wants to win here. And I believe that. So,
yeah,
I'm ready for the future.
I feel similarly with Ant-Man. Like he's had a lot of life growing in these 3-4 years in the league, and it's remarkable that they accept that role. Like as such a young dude, like understand that he is the key to the reason why this week can be a successful team. Like the ceiling is with Ant, and it's not necessarily with the others. There's so many people here tonight. Now I'm actually overjoyed right now with like the team's winning, the good vibes are back, and we're above 500. Let's keep this shit going. And D'Lo, speaking of good vibes, keeping this shit going.
I know it's 37 minutes. Crazy.
Yeah, 37 minutes, 19 points. Maybe a couple turnovers, a couple missed shots here and there. I don't really know if I care right now because he's finding it like in the flow rather than just like taking himself out of the flow. 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals for D'Lo. And our boy with a rising track record this season at least. A grade for him in 3, 2, 1. I'll give him a B.
I will too. I was going to say B. I think this is better than I expect, and this is what we want. We're not expecting like 15 assists and 15 points necessarily, but like he had a very solid night. And that's all you need that's all the Timberwolves have needed for the longest time is a solid point guard that can hit some shots. And D'Lo has been doing that for the greater part of like the last month. So, and all through trade rumors and contract extension talks and all this stuff, where a time where he could have, crumbled or like
or just phoned it in.
Yeah, because like fans have been so against him. I mean, we've even been really critical of him.
We have been.
Yeah. And so it's like it makes sense for him to just phone it in. He's been trying to get the fans involved. Like obviously people stand before the games because of D'Lo, and like we kind of gave it back to him, and we were like not super happy. And like he's been performing, so it's great to see. And I just don't have anything but good things to say about D'Lo right now.
Yeah, like no notes really. It's like I could say things like work on your shot and play better defense, but these are going to be things always that we talk about every time when we talk about D'Lo. So it's like nothing really new here. Yeah. It was just really cool to see like our lead not dissipate with him out there. Like some games I'm like, oh, if Ant's not out there, we have no shot. If Ant is like 20 minutes straight and then on the bench for 5 minutes, like those 5 minutes are the worst periods of the game where like we don't know who to go to, and D'Lo is kind of like relieving that stress, relieving that tension off of Ant and playing a second fiddle to him, and I love that. I love seeing that because I think he's also kind of propping up Ant as well too. As much as I see what D'Lo likes doing himself, he's creating for himself more often than not. Dude, he's propping up Ant as much as he can, as often as he can, and that's great to see. You know what? Rudy Gobert, speaking of propping everyone up, we don't need to see an insane stat line from him to know what his presence was felt, because holy shit, he looked insane tonight without having to lead the stat line. 7 points, whatever, 13 rebounds, 1 assist. That 1 assist was like whatever the fuck it was.
Oh my gosh, the best. It counts for like 20 assists. I started laughing out loud. Because
amazing. He clearly was looking, and then was like, oh, Oh no, wait, camera's in my face. I'm looking away. And that was pretty funny. But that was great. I'm glad that he has that in his DNA, in his bag of tricks, so we don't need to see that every game. However, he can pass the ball. Let it be known that Gobert can pass the ball. It assists 3 blocks. Very important to see him actually getting those bounds. And one of them on Ja Morant on a fadeaway. That was sick.
That was, yes.
Rudy Gobert, a grade for our big boy in Minneapolis in 3, 2, 1.
B?
Yeah.
Maybe B+. I don't know. I mean, like, this was just
We don't have
like
a B+ rating.
Like you said, like, it's not necessarily about the stat line for him, similar to like Jaden. We're just looking for smart plays and effective basketball, and he did that tonight. And defensively, he was there. He got rebounds tonight. He had that block. He had the no look pass. Like, it's just this was a good Rudy night. And I hope to see more and more of this. The one thing I also, I've kind of wondered this, and I don't know if players care as much about this as I do, but like, I feel like as a player, I would be really down if the home crowd wasn't loud all the time. And like Timberwolves Stadium, what am I talking about? Target Center is not particularly loud on certain games. Now, I know tonight was loud. I wasn't there, but I know for a fact when it gets to the Memphis times, people care. And you could hear it come through the TV a little bit. It's like, I hope that tonight was like one of those moments where it's kind of like, whoa, it does get loud in here. Because in Utah, those fans are crazy. Those are super loud fans all the time. But tonight, I mean, he probably got a little taste of that, and I kind of thought about that last season with like Ant. I was like, Ant has never really been around like a super raucous, loud Timberwolves crowd. And then he finally got that experience in the play-in game. Yeah. And look who showed up for the playoffs. Ant was amazing in the playoffs. I think it just gives you that little bit of a taste of like, wow, this is exciting. These fans care. And it gives you just that little bit of like extra oomph to like get past like a little bit of tiredness. And like, I think hopefully both the win and it being against a rival, I guess, maybe gets the team kind of fired up to see kind of like what could happen. So I don't know.
I wonder what the culture in the locker room is like. These days have probably been pretty positive. These days have been like showering people with water and like, chucking Gatorade on Finch and stuff like that. It's like, it's probably really positive vibes. And we didn't have that for the most of the season. And we had that with Beverly. And we were like, oh my God, that's maybe the reason why we were so eccentric. And that's why we were so like dynamic on the court, is because Beverly was that dude pushing us. Yeah. Maybe it's a lot of it's just like winning, man. Like what we have been working on, the work is showing. And that's great to see. Against rivals, against the teams that we're looking at, kind of taken down in the playoffs. Great. It's great. And Gobert, dude, like, what's crazy is a screen setter makes the job so much easier. I bet Ant has never had an easier time getting shots up as a Timberwolf as he's had. Maybe in the bubble, because the bubble was fucking all kind of crazy. Yeah. But like Gobert setting screens, rock solid screens against like Dylan Brooks, against Ja Morant, against like the others. Like we didn't have a screen setter. Like Vando was our screen setter last year, dude. And like Vando couldn't like fucking pin anything. And like Cat likes to pop, Pryor likes to set those moving screens, right? So like just saying what it is. Gobert is like the Draymond Greens, is like the Steven Adams. Sets solid screens, gets our offense running, and maybe it looks kind of like improv. Maybe it looks like it's kind of just like, simple offense. But that's actually maybe all we need, because we have such great talent on the perimeter. It's just like that's all we need to really look at and focus on, and kind of play into what the defense is like letting us have. So those screens are also a stat that we don't see, and it's just high praise for the stupid, simple role that he is being paid handsomely for. But we needed that. And maybe that was something that, in the offseason,
I think it was
we needed to address that.
Yeah, it was a priority. I think, honestly, so much about Memphis became like the reasons we would lose to a Memphis team became priorities to us in the offseason. And Rudy filled so many of those holes. Like you're talking about the screens. Timberwolves have not had a solid screener since I don't even know. I can't remember. Like so long ago. Peck is probably the last legit screener that we've had. And then on top of that, offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds, we've struggled with rebounding. We still have struggled this season, but Brandon Clark tonight, I think he only ended up with, it was under 10 rebounds. That's all I know. It was like 6 or something like that. So like, that's something the Timberwolves don't normally get away with. Usually Brandon Clark is getting up there with, I mean, look at the playoff stats last year. He was getting like 10 plus rebounds every game.
Yeah.
So, it's just, he plugs a lot of those holes, and tonight was the night that shows why it works.
Yeah. Actually, it's probably Taj Gibson, but
maybe Taj.
Check this out. The Wolves are 10-4 since that players only meeting that we heard so little about.
Yeah.
And the trash talking or whatever the crap that we're doing worked. And thank you for mentioning that, because, I know nothing, and I put that out of my mind. Like, usually I care about these kind of things, but this season is kind of like taking me as like a, instead of the driver's seat fan, I'm like the passenger side fan. Like I'm not as tuned in and tapped into everything. So it's great to see that. And I don't even know what Krasinski's tweeting, because I just don't care anymore. I'm going to find myself in that spirit soon, because we just keep on winning. You keep on grinding these games out, and Cat's coming back sometime. We haven't heard word about that, but we're expecting All-Star break. But dude, we're peaking at the right time, man. We're grinding wins with all our All-Star, and then we have all that time to kind of find ourselves again and renewed energy while I'm worried about it. Maybe these players don't take a step back. Maybe these players keep playing at this level. That'd be incredible. I don't know what I said.
They did do a good job with Clark tonight.
Yeah,
sure.
And what's crazy is that Clark is another Wolves killer. Off the bench, he feels way more impactful than starting. I thought that I didn't really feel him tonight. I thought there was some early foul calls that stopped him from being as aggressive as he usually is, and he just doesn't. He wasn't the same player tonight that I usually see. He's like that mid-range. He's that mid-range dude that will take those games, take those offensive rebounds, and then have that pop shots that are like Alperen Sengun style.
Dude, they're so weird.
Yeah. But he fucking makes them, and he's an all-star in that role. And I think maybe his starter is not where he actually fits, but Adams is out and all this whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah.
To the player of the night, in my mind, in our eyes, and in our hearts, Kyle Anderson. We are all slow-mo sexuals here. 27 minutes. In 27 minutes, he went 9 for 16, 4 for 7 from 3. He took 7 threes. On average, I think it takes a 3 or 2 a game.
Maybe, yeah.
7 threes. I guess they just let him have it because he was former Memphis Grizzly. Takes 10 seconds to take that shot. So maybe that's what they were thinking.
Yeah.
But 23 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, a block, 3 rebounds. Can't do no harm. Can't do no wrong. A grade for our boy Slow-Mo in 3, 2, 1. A1.
A1. Easy A1. First A1 we've had in a while around here. And so deserved. I mean, this was as we've said about A1s, it's like an unforgettable game. This is an unforgettable game. I will not forget this Kyle Anderson game. Those 2 threes right out the gate was also hilarious. I had many laughing points apparently during the game tonight. But that was hilarious and amazing. I mean, Kyle, we've said it before, Kyle Anderson usually is this ugly yet efficient player on the court. He is not obviously they call him slow-mo for a reason. His shot is ridiculously slow. He moves ridiculously slow, but it's effective. And tonight it was not ugly and effective. It was beautiful and effective. It was seriously so amazing though. Just watching him be able to, I mean, he was cooking them up. It was just crazy to see Kyle be the main, what did he finish second in points on the team or something like that? That's crazy. This is wild. And then the 7 threes, I can't get over it.
Wasn't expecting that. This is unprecedented territory for him, and I like unprecedented. I like to be shocked and appalled in a good way. The unexpected is great because while we don't have Cat, the expected 25 points, 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
Where is that coming from? And every given night, there's some other player, the Luka Garzas, the Nathan Knights, and now it's Kyle Anderson's here to stay. Dude, straight up, everyone was saying Bruce Brown was the signing of the offseason.
Yeah. It's Kyle
It's Kyle Anderson.
Yeah. Because
straight up,
he's on a pretty good contract too. I mean, I think it's 2 years, but it's not that much. And it's something where you would have expected the Timberwolves to have to, in the past, the Timberwolves would have had to pay. Yeah, a lot more. And this is a normal NBA team contract, not a Tundra Tax contract. Like, this is just real.
Yes.
And like realistically, this whole season, we've had, even though we're only 26 and 25, like there have been flashes of real basketball happening. There have been flashes of real contracts being made. Like real big boy decisions are being made.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's nice to see normal, And like, sure, would I rather be 40 and 20 right now? Or well, I don't even know what we could be. But like, would I rather us be like second in the West right now? Like we probably should be. Yes. But we're not. We still have a lot of things to work out, polish. Like we're clearly not like solved tonight or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we are showing signs of a real basketball team, not just like the typical, the Minnesota Timberwolves just fighting as hard as they can, and they occasionally get an exciting win. Like we're actually playing real basketball, and I think it gives us a real shot going forward. And I think especially when we play in games that we care about, we talked about it earlier. I think somebody was talking about it in the chat. The Timberwolves show up for games that they care about, and you can definitely tell when they don't. Like when it's against like the Rockets, or when it's against like, I don't know, some of these other teams that are not so well, like it just doesn't look good. But then you play the Pelicans. We wanted to get a win back. We had a great game against the Pelicans. Played the Memphis Grizzlies. We always want to play good against the Memphis Grizzlies. Like this is the Timberwolves team that can beat a good team. And which is why I do care a little bit less about our regular season record, because I know that if we can get into the playoffs, it doesn't matter what seed we are. We just have a chance.
Yeah. In the rotation is Taurean Prince, Kyle Anderson, Rudy Gobert. These are smart, savvy veterans that are replacing what we had out there last year. The Vandos, the Beasleys, the unproven, untested players. So automatically, I feel a little bit more secure in stature of how we're going to fare against any team in the West. The West is wild, and wild in like the opposite way that you would think. Usually, the West is kind of commanding. Like who are the better teams? The top 10 in the West, top 10 in the league are like 8 West, 2 East. And that's like more of a 50-50 split, if not like leaning more East. The West is wide open. The West is for us to take over. And I feel strongly that we have the tools, we have the team currently composed to get there.
Yeah.
But we don't be shocked for a move. Don't be shocked to say that we aren't willing to settle. This is great vibes and everything. That players only meeting. After we lost 6 straight, we had a players only meeting, and then we recovered from those 6 games to win 10 out of the next 14. That's pretty cool. So we are basically where we were prior to the 6-game loss streak, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that's interesting as a development, because that's basically like that's all Cat time.
Yeah.
Cat was not there for any of that.
Yeah.
Like, we are growing as a team without Cat. Can't wait for Cat to come back, and that is the truth. I'm not just like saying it for like fanfare to like get the likes and subscribes, and don't forget to share the video. But I am definitely saying that like truthfully.
Yeah, no, I am too. I am excited to see Cat come back. I'm very curious to know when he comes back. I still think the post All-Star break thing makes a lot of sense. But yeah, upcoming schedule.
Yeah, we play tomorrow.
We play tomorrow.
I will not be available. I'm sorry.
We play the Kings. Light the beam. I've got the beam right here, actually. Light the beam, and then guess who we play on Monday? The Kings.
Ooh.
Again.
Home and home.
Yep.
Oh no.
Home and home.
Oh.
We're on the beginning of a 6-game home streak.
Oh.
So we play Kings, Warriors, Magic, Denver.
Oh.
So I mean, this is
grueling
proving
stretch.
time. Like the Kings are what, 3rd in the West right now or something like that. It's
that's silly.
I mean, that's crazy. They have like the number. I think I saw some graphic. I think you actually shared it on Twitter. It was like they are the number 1 offense in the league right now. Like what?
What? All they did was change a coach, and they get like Malik Monk or something.
Sabonis. They got Sabonis.
Well, the Sabonis already happened.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But I understand.
But yeah, no, I mean, they're 27 and 20. So like
that's where we should be.
That's where we should be. And realistically, so like after tonight, we're only 3 games back of them.
See, isn't that stupid?
That's
like we're the 9th seed or whatever, and we could easily be the 4th seed.
Yeah, it's like
it's a 2-game swing here and there.
That's why every game is crucial. Like tonight, right now, as currently constructed, we are the 7th seed, but we are 3 games back of Sacramento, 2 games back of the 4th seed, and just 1 or a half game back of the 6th seed in Dallas. And Dallas Luka just went down for who's going to be day to day. But so like, the West is open and the Clippers are the 5th seed. We've beaten the Clippers, and obviously we beat them in the play-ins last year. And the Pelicans, we just beat them. The Kings, this is our time to prove that we can beat the Kings too. And if we beat the Kings twice, then we are within 1 game of the Kings. Like, I mean,
that's crazy. We're looking up being like, this is all achievable.
This is all very achievable before the All-Star break. Like, we could be top 4 in the West before the All-Star break.
That's crazy. That's like Jimmy Butler year, right?
That's
like,
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. We were really
I think we were. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were 3 or 4.
And like last year, when like this is a weird thing to say, man. Like as for real, I felt very confident last year about like how we were. But at this time, we were the same fucking record.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it feels so different year to year.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly the same pieces. Gobert completely shifts our entire dynamic. However, the same pieces are still there, and we just look so different. But we are growing into, as opposed to peaking early. I think we're growing into something. I think that's really noteworthy. Also noteworthy. The rotation. We are not seeing the Bryn Forbes. We are not seeing the Luka Garzas and like the Josh Myotts and Wendell Moores. We're not seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also kind of proving itself to be a successful like kind of ideology. Like see what works in the beginning of the season.
Yep. Like
trim the fat, curate the roster, and make it the team. That's our identity moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but like I see that Finn, the great one mentioned this, and I was just like, oh, that's totally true.
I think it's just winning time. I think Finch is getting to the point where it's like, okay, I can see the finish line. Maybe it's not super close, but like this is a stretch where like even just these next like I guess you could argue from like mid-January, even like the beginning of January, it was kind of like, okay, we've got our team. Maybe this was like the time where they're like, we're going to really settle into more of like a 8-ish to 9-ish like team roster that we play. And I think that's just what's happening. I think that may have been the plan from the get-go. Who knows? But like obviously you have Garza on the bench if needed for crazy situations. He's proven to be like serviceable in moments. But totally. I do think that it's getting to that time where it's like, okay, because this gives people like Jalen Nowell an opportunity to not have to worry about their like spot in the roster. Now, I'm not trying to like give him an out, but like I think it helps the players to know like, hey, I'm not always like every single day fighting for like my ability to keep my job. So like Jalen Nowell can have a bad game or 3 or 5 in a row, and it's not like the end of him being in the lineup. It keeps some amount of like consistency going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I do like that the lineups are shrinking a little bit, having a little bit more normalcy. That gives players the ability to be more familiar with each other. Like you said, there's not that many practices that are able to be done, especially when you're talking about today and tomorrow. There's the game right after a game, so it's back to back. You don't have a practice. Tonight was your practice. So yeah, I think it's smart to have the smaller lineup. But we're hitting that magic time of an hour. And it's been a great show. We were up to like 50 viewers at one point, which is insane. Shout out to all of you watching.
Much love to all of you.
Seriously, I appreciate it. Even though we've been such bad people with our attendance this year, we appreciate the love. And we definitely will be showing up more as the season goes on. I, of course, have like some things going on. Like tonight I had a meeting that I had to go to.
Ooh, I love those nondescript meetings.
Yeah, well, it's just a photo
Were you guys talking about things?
No, it was just a photo shoot. But yeah, so again, I have bad timing photo shoots right now, but that will be changing and hopefully giving me more of an opportunity to do some more games. So,
sure.
Any final words from you, Ashwin, before we intro as the outro?
No, I'm going to miss you guys tomorrow because I'm going to be available for tomorrow's game. But go Wolves! This is awesome to see. This kind of the growing pains were there. We're working through our struggles. We still have a rusty offense that's working. It's not well oiled. It's not definable yet, but we're getting there. Mm-hmm. And of course, we're gonna have holes in our game. We don't have Cat out there. Yeah. Can't wait to have Cat back. And I'm really excited what's maturing here. This 6-game stretch is gonna be huge. It's gonna be very telling. what are we going to be? Like, what team's going to show up? I'm excited. I also kind of feel I know what's coming. Like, I know what team is showing up, and I'm really excited about all that.
Definitely. Well, I don't know if I'm available for tomorrow, but the way to answer that is by putting post notifications on and by joining the Discord. That's the best way to find out. So, link in the bio or description or whatever it's called. But anyways, 52 wins, still possible. Intro as the outro. We will see you next time. Go Wolves.
Next time. Go.